It's a land of outlaws and loneliness. And by the way, it's breathtaking. Today on At Your Leisure, we are off to Wayne County on the trail of Butch Cassidy and the Hole in the Rock gang.
Then what does Hawaii and Wayne County have in common? Zack. He's been to both of them. He wraps up his adventure to the Aloha State.
Plus, it's the senatorial debate question all of us outsiders would love to ask. The answer comes as we hike with Jenny Wilson and her dad.
And how do you make a 38-inch tire fit into a 32-inch wheel well? At Your Leisure's next.
Welcome to At Your Leisure, everybody. I'm Rhea Rossi Booth.
And I'm Chad Booth, and we are out in eastern Wayne County. This is that big stretch of land that I have never been to and have always wanted to come out here. And there is a lot of land.
Oh, it's spectacular. The scenery is just over the top, and we are so blessed to live in the state of Utah.
This is true. And I wonder why they decided to put 24 or Highway 191 where they did, because this is a spectacular scene.
No, really, I can't even believe as long as you've been in this business, you haven't been out here.
This is true. Now, we're out here with a group of elected officials from around the state. They are trying to develop this area, put a visitor center, a historical museum in Hanksville, get people to stop, stay, and spend a little time coming out to explore this area. And so this field trip that we're tagged along on, that's what it's all about.
So let's go check it out.
If you ever forget how big this country really is, you need to head out east from Highway 24, bound for the Green River. Rhea grew up among the cornfields of Illinois, where the day starts early and the sky dominates the landscape. But it's a single landscape. The thing about this area is that at every bend, you are in a different world, and a beautiful one at that. From badlands to towering hoodoos, the hardscrabble landscape is like a treasure chest, holding 1,000 secrets of a different time, like coming home.
When you say home, I mean all this country from Hanksville to Lake Powell now, which was originally just the Colorado River, and all the way back to Green River and into western Colorado. That's home to me.
We grew up with the outlaws, and we consider the outlaws to be Robin Hood-like.
To hear some of the stories that have been passed down from generation to generation, yeah, it's mind-boggling to think of all the things that have happened out here with our ancestors and those that settled this area.
Of course, our grandmother, Edna Gibbons Ecker, played hopscotch with Butch Cassidy and used $5 gold pieces for their taws.
The remoteness of the area, you feel like you've stepped right back into time, into the 17th, 18th century, for sure.
You see where we've been today so far. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of miles, and there's a lot more left to see, and a lot of miles that we're not going to cover today. You could spend days out here and I think never cross your path twice.
Bonus, this place is not only rich in scenery, but it's rich in history too.
No, that's true. There is certainly a lot to learn about the area. I had no idea.
I know, it's amazing.
Well, right now it's time for us to shift to our travel adventure. We are going off to a place that's almost completely 100% the opposite of what we're looking at right now, as Zack Cipriano takes us to Hawaii.
Hey, At Your Leisure fans, Zack here. I'm just soaking in the sun on my last day here on the Big Island. It is going to be hard to leave this place, let me tell you. I mean, you've seen it with that ATV adventure, the zip lining, it was pretty awesome. But we actually did a whole lot more that you haven't seen yet, so why don't you take a look at that? I'm just going to relax a little bit longer.
there was so much to do, and we probably didn't even do like the surface of what there is to do here, but it was amazing.
We have had a lot of fun every day here in Hawaii. We've had all different types of weather, but regardless of what the weather has been, we've been able to find an activity for it.
I think this island is so beautiful because the entire island hasn't been turned into a tourist spot. Granted, like in the main cities are the tourist spots, but where we were at, it was amazing that you could just get away from everybody, and we found our own beaches, we found our own places to explore.
Hey guys, guess where we are? Black Sand Beach.
I liked both beaches that we went to. Black Sand Beach was really nice. The water was colder there. The sand was a little harsher, so my feet felt very exfoliated afterwards. But the white sand beach was probably my favorite. Got to lay out, got to see the sea turtles like really up close, which was really cool.
I didn't think we'd be able to see sea turtles, but we've seen a few, which has been nice on the beaches and in the water, which is really cool. That's probably my favorite part.
After being so busy and doing all those things, it was really nice to just go to the beach and hang out with my family and just like explore through the water and explore on the beach. That honestly for me was probably the funnest.
So this is the first time that my 2-year-old was able to play on the beach, and she loved it. And it was just so much fun to see her eyes light up and to see her play in the ocean and the sand. And even though she's never been on the ocean before, she automatically started playing chicken with the water, and she would run back and forth and just screaming and having so much fun.
What the heck, dude? Kyler! I leave him alone for 1 second and he's up a tree. My gosh.
Kyler's trying to break this coconut open.
Shove it all up against that.
He gave up.
Yesterday we went scuba diving, which provided the highlight of my trip.
We haven't even got to the dive site yet and we've already seen dolphins. I think this is gonna be a pretty good day.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. That was so fun. Getting certified was an amazing experience, but being out in the open water is completely different. We saw sharks, we saw turtles, we saw dolphins, like everything you could imagine, we saw that.
The guide that we had with us was pretty well educated on what all the fish were, so he was able to tell us what they were and kind of point out and find some of the more rare, both fish and animals like different eels and stuff like that.
The tiger shark was definitely the highlight. I was hoping to see some dolphins down there like we did on the surface, but the shark did it. So yeah.
This trip went by way too quick. I wish we could have stayed longer.
I feel like Hawaii is a very special place, and your family is very special to you. So to be able to combine them together just makes just like a complete experience.
Our lives are so busy all the time, new things happening, so it's nice to be able to catch up with one another versus having any outside world influences like our jobs or social media kind of take us away from spending time with each other.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X2. Purpose-built for exploring tight technical terrain. and boasting next-level versatility. No other side-by-side delivers this level of proven off-road performance. The all-new Wolverine X2 from Yamaha.
Hello, my pretties. Halloween is coming, and we have a special contest.
AYL Halloween Hunt starts September 15th to October 15th. Winners get dinner with cast and crew at Archibald's in Gardner Village and be a part of the Halloween episode at Cornbelly's at Thanksgiving Point. Filming and dinner is Monday, October 22nd. Check Facebook for how to play.
We'll see you on the Halloween episode.
Crisp, colorful, a world in transition. You don't have to travel the back roads of Maine to explore autumn in all of its glory. Beaver County offers fall in unique splendor, with drives along forgotten canyons and hikes through meadows exploding with vibrant hues of red and yellow. Hit the road with your family and discover a side of Beaver County you never knew you were missing. Autumn is fleeting, so don't hesitate. Beaver County, it's time to experience the real Utah.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Scott Huntsman, and today we are going to stuff this 37-inch tire into a 32-inch wheel well on our 2009 Jeep Rubicon. But first, let's take a look at the tire that we've chosen for this project, the Yokohama MT. Yokohama is well known for their design of this type of tread. Heavy lugs on the tread, heavy lugs on the sidewall, a great flexible sidewall that works fantastic, aired down just as much as it does aired up on the highway. Now let's go inside and let's cut this thing up. Let's get started. I'm ready. So the Jeep that we're starting out with already has a 2.5-inch lift. That's a big benefit right here because we have to have that lift for initial clearance. But come on in here. One problem that's going to be an issue is going to be this rock slider coming far back into the wheel well like it does. We're going to have to modify that as well as the body pinch seam to make that room. Okay, working our way to the front of the vehicle, we're going to have the same problem up here with the fender flare. This stock fender flare is just not going to cut the mustard. In fact, this is already broken loose. We're going to replace that with this Bushwhacker flat style fender flare that's going to open up more clearance for us for the larger tire. First thing we'll start with is get these fender flares off. I've already drilled out the rivets that hold the outer flare to the inner splash shield, and now I'll pop off the plastic rivets to hold the inner splash shield on. Just like that. So most of the work will be on the rear wheel well. We have to start by cutting that small section at the front of the well, then weld the cavity shut to keep the body watertight. Next, we'll reinsert the inner fender liner and mark it as per the instructions and cut it so that it is flush with the fender. All the mounting brackets are numbered and install easily into existing holes on the fenders. They're held in place by plastic rivets that you simply pop in place. Then reinstall the cut down splash shields and anchor them per the instructions. Then simply slide the fenders over the brackets and secure them into place with the 6 screws provided in the kit. All right, the front fender goes on just the same way as the back. Again, we shave the inside shield, cut it, we mount the anchor points using the plastic rivets, and we slide the assembly on and peel the adhesive so that it sticks to the body for a nice firm fit. Solder a couple of wires for the front light, and we're good. It looks fantastic. I love it. I love the look of this Jeep now. And the 37s are on and they clear. Also, no cutting of the body on the front. Now, this whole project would take you about 4 hours if you have the right tools and a little bit of know-how. If not, it might take you all day. All right, so here's our finished project. Turned out pretty good. I like the looks of it. Very, very nice. Bushwhacker fender flares, Yokohama tires. I highly recommend the Yokohamas. They're great on the highway. They're fantastic off-road. Now, if this project seems a little too much for you, you can always come and see us here at Tunex in South Jordan and West Valley. We have a special going on right now on installation of these kits. Chad and Reel will be back in a moment with more at your leisure.
Is crisp, the sun is shining, the snow is deep. Living in Utah, we all know that the weather changes quickly. Don't miss one weekend of winter riding without a new Polaris snowmobile from Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. It's the Polaris factory authorized clearance. Right now, get financing as low as 3.99% for 36 months and a $2,000 rebate on all 2018 snowmobiles, and a 3.99% for 48 months and a $400 rebate on select timber sled kits. Stedman's Recreation in Tooele has Utah's largest selection of recreational vehicles, including a huge selection of Polaris snowmobiles. Stedmans.net.
For 7 years, Utah's Community Voice has been the county seat, a program that looks beyond politics to spotlight the issues and stories that really matter to you and your community. Now you can help set Utah's agenda for the future by joining the conversation. Become a county seat sponsor and help support those conversations that are critical to the future of state government. Contact us at 801-947-8888 to make your contribution to help the voice of Utah be heard like never before.
The Polaris factory authorized clearance is here. Get the year's biggest deals on the world's best-selling off-road lineup. Chase adventure on a legendary sportsman. Get more done with a hard-working Ranger. Or attack the off-road with a high-performance Razor. Now's the time to buy with rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris factory authorized clearance.
I think I could move there. That cabin's been there for a really long time.
Yeah, I know, but you're also the girl who said she could sleep in a tent at the St. Anthony Sand Dunes, and that lasted all of...
Oh, I don't know, maybe an hour.
I know I won $50 over it.
Oh, forget about it.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are in eastern Wayne County, and we are out here with a group of state officials and county officials who have been working on a project to try and create a museum and cultural center in Hanksville so that they can get the artifacts that are precious off the range so they're not subject to decay and vandalism.
I think that grazing the livestock out in this desert land is as much a part of our heritage and our history as the orchards in Capitol Reef National Park that they're preserving. That's part of who we are.
You don't think this exists. When you're driving between Green River and Hanksville, this kind of a little oasis out there with lots of history.
One thing we're out here looking at today is some of this country where Butch Cassidy roamed back in the day, and trying to do an economic development project to actually take some of the places where he was here, a cabin, some memorabilia, and actually build and create a museum in Hanksville and try to create a reason why some of these millions of visitors that come to Capitol Reef National Park could continue down the road just a little ways further and actually go to Hanksville.
While the treasures found along the roads need to be preserved, the access to the roads are no less important to local leaders. A small section of National Park keeps the entire area off limits to ATVs and UTVs.
You know, we have some people that like to come out here and do jeeping and do different things that are handicapped. We had one at our meeting last night, and he has a big issue with these roads not being open to areas that he wants to get to, that other people want to hike to, but he wants to get as far away as he can get because he's in a wheelchair. He drives a Jeep and takes care of himself, but he would like to come out here and spend more time and get to more locations than what he can do just by driving by.
It's access for everyone, not just for the healthy. Everyone needs to have access to it.
Oh my gosh!
Say hi
that's all. Just say hi.
Listen, you're the best cowboy in this county. I'm telling you.
So if you
look at this,
if,
isn't he
if,
awesome?
if you come
I
out
like
here
his
to
belt.
Wayne County, you are likely to run across genuine, real Western cowboys, right down to the spurs. Look at this.
People. That's why I come over here and say hello.
All right.
Hey, well, we got to see the spurs.
I love the spurs.
Look at that.
Look at those babies. Oh yeah.
This guy shows up
That's
to
what
work
I'm talking
every
about.
day with spurs.
Right there. You get people in line with those.
It's because the wind blows so hard up here, you gotta have something to weigh you down so you just don't blow away.
You gotta have something to keep you in your saddle.
Yes,
There,
I get
there
it.
you go.
Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome.
Half of Wayne County does not have any paved roads in it, from Hanksville to the east, a full entire half. And you've got that opportunity to get out there and explore it and look the kind of people you'll run across. They live out here.
I know, it's shameful, and we need to start doing something about it.
No, we are.
All right, what are we going to do?
We're going to have lunch. We're going to let you go to our trailhead adventure, and we'll be back with more of our adventure in eastern Wayne County.
Autumn, the harvest, a time for gathering and reflecting. The colors of the canyons beckon us to draw near. Jenny Wilson and her father, Ted Wilson, respond to that call to connect, taking time for a walk around Silver Lake in Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Well, I grew up not far from here, and I have so many amazing memories of my childhood here, my youth, and it's still special to me today. There's so much to offer in these canyons. I mean, this is a really well-traveled trail here. It's an easy one.
Spending time together as father and daughter, Ted and Jenny walk the trails and enjoy the colors. Reminiscing about growing up in Utah and taking advantage of the perfect fall weather to enjoy a simple walk in nature.
To be able to come up to a place like Brighton or ski at Alta or go over to Park City, those are things that kids just will do anything for, and I got them to do almost anything. and so, you know, Utah is so rich in family connections, and I was a great beneficiary of that as a father.
So the thing about my dad is he always pushed us in the outdoors, and I think we're all better athletes because of that. But it was like, hey, you can do it. Dad's an elite athlete. He's an amazing climber. Some of the climbs in this canyon are named after him and his buddies, and that's been part of our legacy, is like, go with Dad, but you better be ready to perform. You know, there's nobody bigger than life than my dad when it comes to the outdoors in Utah. I mean, he's a rescue hero in the Tetons. I made a film about that, and yeah, so I think I'm proud of that. More proud of that than Ted the mayor.
Ted was the 30th mayor of Salt Lake City from 1976 to 1985. Jenny Wilson is currently a member of the Salt Lake County Council and is running to represent Utah in the United States Senate.
You know, I'm a county elected official, and we worry about these canyons because of the growth in our county and in our region and in our state. So many tourists coming in. We want the ski resorts to do well, but we want to be able to maintain this incredible experience for years to come, and that's a concern to me. Well, we're working hard at the county level to find solutions to make sure we have transportation solutions in these canyons.
With much the same passion as her father showed as mayor of Salt Lake, Jenny has led efforts by the Salt Lake County Council to try to help stabilize the canyons and improve the experience for all those who come here to visit. So the county wanted to direct funds to projects to help in some way. Sometimes the results of those efforts are not what one would expect.
The National Forest Service does not have the funding it needs. And interestingly, I thought it would be a little more maintenance for the trails, what have you, but it ended up being, we need a bathroom. So the National Forest Service could not fund that, and we were able to do that locally.
Ted and Jenny have been active advocates of the canyons that ring the Salt Lake community, working to protect and keep the Wasatch Mountains a place for the public to enjoy and preserve, so that the hills will be as beckoning for their grandchildren as it has been for them.
Every Utahn has this within their grasp. I don't care where you live in Utah, there's something unique about the outdoors right outside your doorstep. We're pretty lucky people in this state.
From the trailhead, I'm Shannon Bushman.
The Utah Farm Bureau began as a collection of farmers supporting each other to raise the food we enjoy. Today, Farm Bureau membership encompasses everyone, whether ranchers, growers, or just everyday folks like you and me. Members enjoy discounts on items like vehicles and ATVs, or insurance that's very affordable. You don't have to be a farmer to join, and dues are small, but together we make a big difference in keeping our food supply local and abundant. Join Utah Farm Bureau.
You have a message. You have a brand. You have something worth experiencing. What you don't have is an audience. It's time to change that. It's time to partner up with the #1 outdoor program in the country and show the world what you have to offer. Advertising on At Your Leisure is effective and affordable, giving you an audience that dwarfs anything else out there. Backed by a proven force of outdoor adventure. Contact the AYL team at 801-947-8888. It's time your message was heard.
Introducing the 2019 Ski-Doo Trail and Crossover Sleds. With unparalleled power, agility, and precision, get ready to experience that Ski-Doo feeling on every wide-open straightaway and tight corner. The Ski-Doo sales event is on now. Visit your local dealer for details.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are out here in eastern Wayne County. We are on this big caravan with lots of government officials learning about things that can happen out here. I'm about to get assaulted, I can tell. And we found a vehicle with an At Your Leisure sticker.
Wait a minute, Chad. No, this guy won. This person won. I found this before you found it. So they won the ride fab for $400 for the ATVs. Okay, the person you saw, you're gonna have to wait another week. But this guy won, so give us a call at 801-947-8888 and claim that prize. Now let's go take a look at next week's show.
Next week, Halloween is going to be coming at you full speed ahead as we bring you the highlights of a record-setting day at the Salt Flats.
Then we have a howling good time as we preview the annual off-road ride in Circleville, Utah.
And Ria's going to jail. Haunted jail.
I didn't do it.
Looks like next week's show is going to be an extremely good show here on At Your Leisure. One reminder, September 27th, we've got an event for you. It's the Halloween Howl in Paiute County. We're going to be down there, and you'll want to be along for this ride. It's a lot of fun. Check this out. We're at the end of this is called the Flint Overlook, and there is a gnarly road that runs all the way down this draw. Would you do it?
Heck no. There is a guy down there in his Jeep doing it, though. It's pretty impressive.
This would be one of those things.
Do you go down?
I'm getting out. I'm going to walk, and I'd have to pick her up at the bottom.
No, our guide said you should go down, but I wouldn't advise you trying to come back up.
Yeah. Anyway, we've proven today that even if you've lived in the state all your life, even if you're like us and you've traveled everywhere, there's still adventure around every bend because we've never been out here before.
That's right. You just got to get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure. All right, let's get up with the crowd before we're lost out here.